right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Loose Podcast. It's your boy Gabe, as usual, and I am joined by none other than Ray himself, in person this time. In person. It's crazy. He's here, man. So, dude, you've been back how long now? Like a month?
Pretty much like exactly a month now.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. I've been wanting to get you on the show for so long. Like, it's kind of like a surreal thing to have you like sitting here and just like we're actually doing it.
It's exciting actually.
It's sick, dude. I'm messing with it.
This has been the longest that I've gone without being on the podcast, actually.
Yeah, because you had like a system kind of. You would be on like every month or so.
I was on like every 3 weeks to a month, and then like since I've been like home and everything, we just I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of slacking on the podcast low key. Like I mean, it's December. Like I said on my last post, like I'm just relaxing for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Just taking my time with some vacation stuff. But
yeah, high key, bro. I start mine this Thursday, anyways. Like,
nice, dude.
Same deal. Like holidays were just weird because even my co-host was like busy with his girlfriend and his family and everything.
Yeah. But I'm back full force, man. This year is gonna be great. I can feel it in my bones, man. It's gonna be so great.
Honestly, like hit, bro. There's been like so many like kind of like intrusive thoughts that I've had lately, but like they're like intrusive in the sense that like they're overly pessimistic. Like I be like thinking about like all the things that could go wrong, but it's like weird because I still have like this excess of like stability and energy that's just like it like kind of like murders those fucking like those thoughts so quickly, and then I end up just like good, like my mind just ends up clear and peaceful, and then I just go about my day.
Yeah, I've had some like similar like usually I'll have those intrusive thoughts like a lot, and it'll just be like, man, like this, there's no way. Like you, like for example, like the other day, I was thinking like, man, you've been sitting at 45 subscribers on YouTube for a minute. Like you're not progressing at all. Like you should probably stop. I'm just like, but no, this is the good part. This is literally like, this is the make it or break it.
The grind,
like, This is literally it. Like if I can't sit through this, then I shouldn't have done it in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
For real, man. And it's kind of like that with everything, especially like intangible stuff. Because I'm like, even thinking about like, me like getting back into like music and like starting guitar again, like sitting through like even like old like drills that I used to do like for like flexibility and like what's the word, I don't know, like basically like your skills with your hands, like you know, all that stuff. Like since I've been out of practice for that long, there's like a lot of like old grindy stuff that I have to get back to and do. But like if I can't do that, then it's like
it sucks too, because like, you know, a lot of people, they'll sit and watch someone that's like even like decent at something, and they're like, man, that's so cool. Like they're so good at whatever they're looking at.
What's even worse, bro, is when you know you could be better.
Yeah, exactly.
you know exactly. Could be better at something.
Like you like someone's watching, like, whoa, man, that guy's so good.
That's me at Smash Bros, bro. Yeah. I be watching people play. I'm like, nah, I could beat them, bro.
No, see, but the point I'm trying to make is that like people just don't understand. They don't realize that like there's so much work that went into being that good. Like they completely just forget. The actual work that went behind getting to that point. You know what I'm saying? And that's like, that's something I kind of want to get out of myself. It's like, I don't want to give people, I've said this on the podcast before, I'm not sure if you watch it or listen, but I was saying I don't want to give people the disservice or the discredit of not acknowledging the work and only acknowledging like where they are now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. I don't want them to think I'm just a god that came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to climb literally like where whoever's watching me is at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know like a concept that kind of goes along with that, which is really crazy, is that dude, what's it called? Starting new things, like being exploratory in terms of like kind of like your passions, like at the age of 24, you're 24, right?
23.
I'm 24. Freaking being kind of like exploratory, like at this point in like in life is so crazy because like everything is like so, everything feels so urgent
Mm-hmm.
and so do or die because it's like it's everything is your decision. You know what I'm saying? Like as a kid, at the very least, you know, like the school system puts you through a lot of experiences that you may or may not succeed in.
Mm-hmm.
XYZ. Like for me, like even being into music, like who knows if I would have figured that out if it wasn't for like my middle school's requirement for
Right,
music
right.
classes and stuff like that. Because
Mm-hmm.
my parents didn't, you know, nobody in my family's musical, like besides
Right.
me, really.
Right.
So that's like it's really crazy because like deciding like specifically to go into to like to start things and to persevere through them and like give yourself your own like routine schedule, freaking all that, like a road to like coming up with your own road to success as an adult is like it's crazy.
It's crazy and it's crucial, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's such a vital thing that you have to figure out like as soon as possible. Like coming up with like not necessarily a schedule, but like a game plan. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I mean, I know a lot of people go in on things blind, and that's cool to a certain extent. But like at some point, you got to figure out like, okay, I need to figure out this is what I need to do. This, and I need to like actually do it. Like actually go for it.
Yeah, like take yourself seriously.
Right. Right.
That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just like, you know, you treat yourself like a professional, and then you start looking at everything like much differently, you know.
Right.
Because I think one of the problems a lot of people have is just like the thinking that like the whatever they're doing isn't that serious because they're the ones doing it. It's just
Right.
like no, it's like it's even more serious because you're the one in charge, you know. Like it's
Right.
you know, or at least you can take yourself that seriously, you know. If people ask what you're doing, like whatever, you may not have like the craziest job right now, but if people ask what you're doing, be like, yeah, like I'm writing a book,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and like and that's like I'm serious about it.
Yeah.
Or I'm in the middle of like creating like an album, like a project right now,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff, or like you know own all of those parts of you, because I think like as soon as you start like treating your like taking yourself seriously and all that stuff, it becomes that much easier
Yeah.
because it's part of your identity. And
Mm-hmm.
then like every day you wake up and you're like, yo, like this is me, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like with that mindset comes like solidarity. Like you every day you start to believe it more and more and more. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like you find like, for example, you know you want to be a musician, or a part of you want to be a musician. Like you start to find your own sound. You know, your unique
Oh
sound as
yeah.
time goes on. You know what I'm saying? Like as you progress and as you stay consistent, you start to become sharper in whatever you're doing. You know
Uh-huh.
what I'm saying? So that's like another thing too. Like a lot of people just like they don't see the sharpness. They see that they're dull for a long time, and then there's like, yeah, there's no point. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, I was like, I'm gonna move on or whatever, and they just completely miss out on their potential. That's a big fear of mine. Is like missing out on my full potential. You know what I'm saying? Like that's actually scary. Like if just moving from one thing to another, because I used to do that a lot. I used to move from one thing to another like all the time, and in some aspects of life I still do, but I want to stick with one thing to the point where like I am a freaking master at it. Like I'm untouchable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, but yeah, that's the whole thing about like just staying consistent. Like going back to the only having 45 subscribers, whatever. Like it's just about staying consistent. That's like the key word, at least for me, as of right now. Cause
Yeah, because
consistency.
the other thing about it, bro, is that like I mean, it's just depending on how you're measuring it. Because
Mm-hmm.
like you can say that like you know the channel's like stagnant, but it's not because you're like uploading consistently. You
Right.
know?
Right.
There's like the channel's growing just off of your effort,
Right. Right.
and I think that that's like worth paying attention to
Oh
like,
yeah,
as well.
no
And
doubt.
like and that's in like any type of like passion that you can have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we kind of had I had a little like a mini convo about like just dreams and aspirations and stuff, but let's get into like the actual conversation for real.
Yeah, word.
What were you thinking like as far as evaluating old and new friendships and stuff like that you were saying
Yeah, man.
before the show?
So like you said, like I've been back for like about a month in Virginia after being gone for like
Mm-hmm.
you know 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and you know you coming back to like a place that you're familiar with, like just a lot of things change for you, I guess, especially if you yourself have changed.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just been really crazy, like trying to figure out what my new place like is, even though this place is already familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, what type of people like do I want to be around now? Like, how do I even create that environment, that community? What do I do about like the old ties that I have that aren't really serving me? And then like, what type of self-love like do I need to be on top of and like aware of now? Like, since now like I'm an adult and like things are different. It's just like, what do I need to do personally to like make sure that I'm on the top of my game every day, so that I can like be aware of all those like new connections and old connections and all that stuff. So that's like,
what do you think is more important in your life right now? Finding somewhere to fit in, or having somewhere fit you?
I think like neither is kind of like the most important, but like it's just that topic has been on my mind.
Yeah.
Because as far as like the work that I've done, like in order to be healthy here, the like first and foremost was like personal work, like inner work. So that like I was healthy.
Right.
And so that no matter what was happening around me, like that I came out like on top and positive. So that was like number one, I would say. I guess in order between those two, I would say like number two is like, you said me finding people or having a place built in me?
Either the first one was like finding some place to fit in. Okay. And then the second one was like finding finding some place to fit in, or having some place fit you. Like which one is more important?
I think there's only like one like logical answer, right? Where it's like, or I guess it depends on who you are, you know? Because if you're finding a place to fit in, then like it's like you as a person, you think you have something to gain. You have something you think you have something to gain from like going somewhere, you know, or, like being part of a community XYZ. But having a place fit you is like, I would like starting a brand, like being a person, like an entertainer on TikTok, and like being able to attract your people, you know?
Right.
You know? And I guess I wouldn't rank either of them either, like more
higher over the other.
Yeah, because like I think both are very important.
I think I agree. I think it's like a case by case thing. So I guess it depends on the person. But all in all, I think that like, I think in a sense they're both the same thing.
Yeah.
Like they're both like obviously one is like searching and then the other is attracting, but at the same time, like you're essentially gonna get this. You're gonna get in the same spot. You're gonna end up in the same spot.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
You're gonna like end up with like support, and people who get you.
Right. It's more about like which avenue you're gonna take to get there.
So we can like, and the reason why that's like even important, right, is like why having people that get you is important. It's like the old philosophers like all the time would like talk about like how reaching happiness and, you know, being at peace and all that stuff is like, it's kind of like not worth it unless you can share it with people, you know. I feel as though like I could like sit in silence and like be okay like all the time, like I feel that in the back of my mind, but I'm like, you know, but there's so much life to kind of experience, and there's so much interaction to be had. And so like I think like finding more meaning, like rather than just like tranquility, is my reason for like going out and trying to do that.
Yeah, I think everybody has like a different reason for finding like companionship in other people.
Yeah.
But I think like as long as it's positive or done in a healthy manner, like as long as there's a healthy end goal, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think that's what really matters, because some people, you know, they want like that tranquility, that like that kind of peace, you know, and other people might want like, I don't know, something new, something crazy, something like a new experience. You know what I'm saying? Like,
people are really different, man.
Yeah,
like,
truly.
I'm like, I know, like, I talk to like my friends a lot, or like the people who I'm closer with, and I'm the type of person to ask those types of questions a lot. You know, like, what is it that you think like you're good at, or like that you want to give to people, XYZ, like, and like my one friend, like, she just talks about it. She says that like she's. Like verbatim says, I love to love people. Like I love making people feel like confident, and like making them feel loved, and all that stuff. Like that's what she gets out of like being like meeting new people and being friends with people. And like I'm like, damn, like I don't. That's like cool. I don't see eye to eye with it, right? But it's just like, and the reason I don't see eye to eye with that is because like for me, like I that's like a never ending, like, you know, like endeavor.
I think there's like, you know how there's a setup to a joke?
Yeah.
There's no punchline to that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
there's a setup, but there's no punchline.
You're gonna be sitting like loving people all the time, you know?
Exactly. Like what's the end goal? Like I understand, like there's like, I don't disagree with what she wants to do. Like that's a great thing. That's a great thing. I just think that there's like one more step to it that should be there.
Yeah, there's still
you
something.
Know what I'm saying?
Like,
there's something missing there. But I get it. I mean, I totally understand. Like there's.
But yeah, I only mentioned that because it's just like like I was saying, it's just like everybody has like their own little thing, you know, like that they want and that they do, and like the reason why they're doing anything, you know, or like what their ideal in life would be, or what their ideal community is. Like everybody has that.
Yeah. I mean, like for me personally, like I definitely want, you know, naturally with everybody, like-minded people around me. But I also want to I want to build something with people. You know what I'm saying? Like I want like a team of just like ballers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the end goal, is to be able to like have like own a part of something bigger than me with my friends.
Yeah.
You know,
you
what
guys
I'm
just made something crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
exactly.
You and your.
That's the end goal. That's the end goal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know. And that you can be proud of it every day.
Exactly.
But like everybody that's part of this group is just waking up and looking at it and being like, yo, like I have
a part of that. Man.
Sure.
That's like a huge thing that's like one of my dreams for sure.
Oh yeah, I can feel that for sure. I can feel that.
Yeah, so as far as like, I guess we could like break it down into like two different conversations. Like what have you been thinking about like old friendships, as far as like how to deal with that since you've been back? I
mean, the last time we had like we were on my podcast actually, but the last time like we talked about humility a bunch, you know, and so in terms of like these old connections, I don't necessarily think that it's like, oh, I outgrew, you know, people, because like a lot of the people that I'm dealing, or those old connections that I'm talking about, are like, they're beasts. Like they're beasts of people. They're just hard to talk to for me like nowadays, because like, just like they went in different directions in life, kind of. Yeah. Like they're just so respectable. Like they're super respectable. Like none of them are doing like grimy shit like XYZ. Like right. The reason why I don't like fuck with them as much anymore has nothing to do with them being bad people, or them being less capable than me or whatever. It's just like that. I guess that's what I'm trying to answer your question, because you're like, okay, what's on your mind about like these old connections? It's just like, that's it, bro. Like I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out what it is that's drifting us apart, because there's nothing wrong with these people. Yeah. You know, like there straight up isn't. You know, because I'm so good at like letting go of people that like that are boring, or they're like parasitic, you know, or all that other like very like negative stuff, like glaringly negative things. Like I'm good at cutting those people off, but it's like I have old connections right now that like are good, and like they, you know, they still care about me, and all that stuff is just like, I guess I'm like used to. I'm thinking out loud right now.
Yeah,
but I guess I'm just used to like a lot of my friendships and connections being very intimate, you know. And some of those connections just don't feel as intimate anymore. Maybe it's part of being an adult. Maybe they're just more busy, or
yeah. I don't know. I mean I'm the same way. Like there are some people that nothing wrong with them. Absolutely nothing wrong. Like we've always been cool. Like there's been no bad blood like at all. And I'm just not as close to them as I used to be. Like, and like some of these people are like down the street. It's not even the fact, that it's not even like that we physically like grew apart or anything. It's just so. I think what it is like, obviously, like in the literal sense, you grow apart, right? You just like. One guy moves to Ohio or something, and you stay here, whatever. But like sometimes it's just ideals. Not that those ideals are bad, but it's just they just don't line up with yours. You know what I'm saying?
No, hip. Yeah, I mean that's a big one because one of the people like that I'm referencing, like I have a hard time talking to him, not for no reason other than like I think like what he wants out of life is so much different.
Yeah.
You know, like he is, and there's nothing wrong with this. But like, he's like content with, wife, kids, you know, house, work.
Hey, I mean that's for some people.
Yeah,
that's for some people. I mean I'm not knocking it.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking that either because like that's fine and all, but like, cause like he could be doing all that, but if he had like the mindset where like he was still like reaching farther in terms of like, I don't know, like life philosophy or like mentality. Like if he was still like being very, if he was still thinking deeply about life, you know, because those are the people that I'm close with nowadays. Is the people that are like still involved with their personal growth, and that are still involved with like, life and their surroundings, you know, because like this dude, like, again, nothing wrong with it, but he could care less that like America's like dying, you know, that like America's like a sinking ship because like wife and family, like that, like, and that's
it.
That's
all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. So he's just like uninvolved, you know, like, so like when I like bring up things that are concerning to me and like about the country or XYZ, is just like he's just like, oh, sorry, like, you know, like I don't
follow it.
Yeah, like
I don't do politics or whatever.
Exactly, like I don't have a stake in it.
Right.
So it's like for me, it's like it's hard for me to like have a fleshed out conversation because like, and especially like if I'm talking about like pursuance of happiness and stuff, it's like for him he's already reached it, like, you know, like, and like for me I'm like, yeah, like I'm kind of like I'm at peace right now, but I'm still like, you know, figuring things out. I'm still finding deeper meanings.
I'm still loading, dude. I'm still loading. He like he's already loaded in.
He's at his he
got in already.
He's still at his destination. You know?
No, I get that, dude. I mean, like I said, for me, it's essentially the same thing, just like a different color. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might not be like politics, but it's definitely just like personal ideals. Like how a person reacts sometimes is enough to kind of like not be there 100% with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because not to say that like there is like a good, right and wrong way to react to something, but like the one I'm referencing is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like if they don't react in the way that like not necessarily like you think is good.
I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, just
like they're not even like they don't like take it in and like have like a genuine response to it.
Right. Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's not a genuine thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like it messes with your brain sometimes because it's like, oh well, if you're gonna react like that, then maybe like
it's like this conversation is not worth having.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna put it into like an analogy so like it's as clear as I can make it. But like, you ever like be with a girl? You ever just talk to a girl or something? I know you know how like this feeling, but the girl, like, you find out the girl has a boyfriend, right?
yeah, sure.
And it's like you find out, it's like wait no, I don't want to talk to you anymore because if like in another world, if we got together, you would do the same thing to me. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like if you're willing to cheat on your dude with me, then you would be willing to cheat on me with another dude. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's essentially like what I'm like getting at. Not to say that like it's a 1-to-1 like reenactment of what I'm referring to, but it's like that same I don't know, not problem, but it's like formula, same formula, essentially.
You mean that like them like if they're willing to be like kind of like fake with you, that they're like that all the time? Or like,
No, reverse it. If they're willing to be fake in a different scenario that's not involved with you, they'll be willing to be fake with you.
Oh, word.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's just like a small little thing that like, and it's not even necessarily to be fake. It's just like a reaction like that may be true to them.
I was just using layman's terms.
Yeah. It might be true to them, but to you, it's just like you just don't agree. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone is doing the right thing in their own mind.
Yeah, no, like because I mean I used to call myself like elitist, but I don't think that's what it is. You know, I think I'm like hype. Like I wouldn't even call it hyper observant. But I'm like very observant, bro. Like I do like to see how people react in certain situations, because it's just like at this point in life, like as an adult with like not that much time to give to any single thing, it's just like I can't necessarily be like mentoring or tutoring people that I'm like, you know, that I want around.
Right.
You know? So it's like if the people that I have around are like kind of falling behind in terms of like those like little tests, those like little like life tests where it's like someone challenges their way of thinking and like their response is just like to back down or to not to speak about it genuinely or like not to put themselves in it because like they just rather not be emotionally vulnerable at the situation. Like that stuff like spells a little bit of weakness to me, and that's like so this is like my personal example.
Yeah.
But like that's the type of thing that turns me off of like of like being friends with that or like being as close with that person, because it just like to me it means that like in their personal life, like in their personal like progress, like they've been falling behind.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's kind of like upsetting sometimes when you can see a person's growth is stunted, like, or they're stunting their own growth.
Yeah, you talked to me about like that one the one dude, you know, like the guy that we knew.
Yeah, exactly.
That it was just the saddest thing because you saw him like as a beast, and then like,
and just like completely just derails his own life.
Yeah,
you know, and it's so sad, genuinely. Like that's another thing too. Like that could be like a side conversation to the conversation we're having right now. It's just like at what point do you just like not notice? You know, like not obviously that's a stupid question, but I'm saying like sometimes you like when you look back in your life and you just have to pinpoint where you messed up, because like obviously you don't notice when it happens, but like it's so sad when like you're seeing someone else go through that and you can like actually see the point where they messed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you just have to let it happen.
Yeah, because it's their life, it's their journey. Like it's not something that you can control. I mean,
I don't like fighting with people over their growth processes.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, okay, like if this is like where you're at and you feel like you have to experience all of this at the moment, like then go ahead, man. Like more power to you, because same, like I've had my times where like I was the stupid one, you know, and my family like let me fail, like literally let me fail, let me like sit like flat on my face, like and I came out better for it, but like it's just like I think it's really sad, like as adults, you know, because I had the luxury of like making like kind of like the bigger mistakes or learning all the crazier lessons when I was like 17, 18, you know. But it's like people that are like 24, even like 28, 30 still like in those ruts.
Ugh, man, like it's, you know, it's I even know some people personally. I like, you know, are 28, 29 and still going through high school problems.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's disgusting or whatever, like, cause there are people much older dealing with like childish problems like that. But it's just really sad to see that like by this point in life you should be like elevated, you know what I'm saying? You should be doing so much more.
Yeah, and I don't like to compare it too much, but it's like at some point you just have to respect yourself enough not to like be part of those issues.
Yeah.
Because that's one of those connections that I'm letting go of like currently is like this dude, he's 20, 27, 28. Like, and he's like mad cool, like for sure. Like, and he's like one of the people that got me through my military experience.
Yeah.
But like, boy, is it like hard to watch him sometimes, man.
It's rough, man.
He's I don't know, like, he's just very absorbed in like emotional, like, I don't even know what to call it, like it feels like a drama, like just straight up like
just emotionally immature, I guess, at that point.
Yeah, well, because like it's I don't want to call it boredom. It feels like very like indirect, like undirected. Like it's just like he's not aware of like kind of like his actions and emotions all the time. And it's hard to watch because it's like like it's my friend,
right?
Like, and it sucks like even like that he's like claiming opinions and taking part in like problems that he probably wouldn't have if he was like in a better place, or if he had not like had his growth stunted so hard.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's like if you if you saw me like randomly, like say you went out to the bar and I was there, right? And I was there and I was with like I don't know, like I was with like some douchebags that were like fucking starting problems,
right?
And I was part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would you like? I imagine that you would look at me and be like, dog, like, who are you rolling with? Like, and how did you get there?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like based off like what I know who you are, based on like what I know about you, and then I see you in that situation. It's kind of like
you just be like, damn, like what happened?
What happened, bro? Yeah, yeah.
And it seems as though like I'm being part of it and like that's who I am right now. And,
right.
You like as the outsider just have to be like, I mean, I guess that's where he is right now. And like I'll step back, like whatever.
Right. I'm gonna let you handle whatever that is.
Or you could always be the type of friend that smacks a person, like
right,
and does all that, like. But
hey, bro, what's going on? What you doing right now, bro?
You could always do that.
Right.
There's certain people that I probably would, but this doesn't seem like that. It just seems like something he's got to figure out.
At what point I gotta ask you this too, because that's an interesting point. At what point do you think it is like appropriate or even necessary to kind of have that like smack at the back of the head conversation with a friend? Or do you even think it's appropriate at all? Like let him just ride it out or whatever.
It's gotta be appropriate at some point, right?
Right.
Because I mean that's the whole point of human interaction is the fact that we can affect each other.
Even a little bit.
Yeah. So there's no question that like it's got to be appropriate at some point. But I guess it depends on how willing you are to invest yourself like emotionally in that person.
Yeah.
And also like how well you know them. But more so the first thing, because if you're super willing, like if you're willing to invest yourself emotionally in someone, then you ask them all the questions, you learn everything that's going on, and you figure it out. You figure out your way to infiltrate the issue,
right?
Because you're just that invested. But I realistically, I think it's less of a timing thing and like more of like how willing are you to stake yourself in that person,
right?
And for me, like that friendship just isn't that important for me. That I would put a lot of the things in my life on pause to try and fix that.
That's a big thing too, because that's a huge point actually, because I guess you are essentially doing that, like putting your entire life on pause. Even if it's a little bit, you're putting it on pause on like for this person. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to care a lot about this person to do something like that.
Yeah, because it's like because now every time that they're like losing their way, like this is yours now too. Like that's your problem now too.
Right.
And so every time you're checking them, you know, because if you don't commit all the way and like in terms of your investment in that problem, then like you know nothing happens.
Right.
They just go back.
Yeah. So that all being said, what's your mindset on creating new friendships or making new connections since you've been back?
So
flip of the coin.
I mean, I think like it's the same, almost the same as like, you know, starting a new, like trying to like getting new love interests,
right?
Like in a way, because I think there's like, I think like really the only thing you can do is like be yourself, and like all the things that happen naturally are the things that like kind of like belong more in your life. You know, like for me, like all the people that like I talk to and that I enjoy and they enjoy me, like those are the people that I'm close with. And like they hit me up regularly, like you know, like to do stuff. It's like, oh, like what you got going on this day, and like and stuff like that, and we figure out how to, you know, how to spend quality time,
right?
How to make each other better, like how to inspire each other, like all that stuff comes naturally. I guess like in like more specific terms, you know, like friendship, I think like is it's weird as an adult, right?
It is,
because it's like it's not
genuinely.
like it's not like about play anymore. It's almost you're almost like being professional about who you're talking to.
It's like a handshake email type beat, man.
Yeah,
you gotta be real pro with it, 100%. And it's almost like it's crazy you say that, because it's like it's completely different than like talking to a girl for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Because you have that intention, like, okay, she's pretty, I want to go talk to her.
Yeah.
Right. But like with starting a new friendship is completely like different, because there really is no it's a chance thing, right? Talking to a girl and talking to a new person to just be friends, you're taking chances for both of them. But at the same time, it's like you have to attack that completely differently, because like it's not even the fact that you're like, okay, I want to be friends with this person, I'm going to go talk to him, because most of the time it's not really like that. It's like it's completely like organic.
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be for sure. I know like I know some friendships are like that, where like my ex, for example, like her best friend in the entire world like apparently hated her. Her best friend did not like her, and she like made it like she thought the girl was cool, so she just made it her mission to like be friends with her. Like,
yeah,
you know.
I think through it's so crazy, because I think just like being friends with someone is like cuts out a lot of the BS that you would get from talking to like a love interest. Because like through sheer perseverance, you can be friends with a girl. I mean, in some cases you can get the girl that you want or whatever love interest through perseverance, like per se. But like if you really like this person, like you could do it. You really could do it. Like you said, it just goes back to like
just being around.
Just being around him all the time, and just you know, talking to him, whatever.
Hit, bro. I was like, I think that's like so true about like a lot of things, like mind you, like, because I think like, you know, if you're like a music lover, and you like take the time to just find whatever it is that you can do to be around music, like, it's gonna be good for you. You know, like for me, like I was thinking about like, and I'm not gonna go on a super long tangent.
Oh no, I got you.
It's like for me, I was thinking about like, what do I have musically around me? I was like, well, I like could always like volunteer at like Hilton for like their choir, because I always loved being around that like the music and stuff, and that'd be crazy. But it's like, and as well as like, on social media, you like if you find like a person like interesting enough, like you find ways to like be in that community and like be around that person XYZ. Like for me, like especially even here, like bro, like it was you were like, oh, I'm starting a podcast, and I was like, dang, let me get on that.
Yeah.
You know, because I always thought that like between you and Darius both, like I always like thought you guys were smooth and like were cool. And like as soon as it was like, oh, like I'm about to start this podcast,
dude. Yeah, I remember like just a comment. It was just a comment like, yo, let me be on. Like that's all it really took. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, sometimes it's like it's not even. It's just like putting yourself in the situation is all it takes. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I know that I have another question too. So like what, not even like I'm not even talking about like a friend at this point, but like what is a person that you would like, because I know you have a set like love interest as far as like their qualities, like what you're looking for in a love interest.
Yeah.
What are you looking for in somebody that you would talk to like every day or whatever, just like as far as meeting a new person to like kind of help you with your own like growth, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, yeah.
Is there like a checklist that you have as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, like surprisingly, I have like a very good grasp of that, and only because like my friend Nicole, shout out her, like she talks to me like every day. I couldn't really tell you why. Like,
some people they just like, I'm gonna talk to this dude. Yeah.
She just likes good company. Like she considers me to be like, you know, like a healthy mind, you know.
Nice.
So she just likes talking to me like all the time. Yeah, not all the time, but like every day. You know, we exchange like 3 to 4, 6 texts a day, something like that.
Yep.
But because of that, like I kind of like I have a grasp of this, you know, of like who I would want to talk to every day. And like either way, like no offense to her, but sometimes it's boring.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. I mean, yeah, no, 100%.
Sometimes it's boring, and sometimes I just like don't want to answer.
Yeah.
But I think like the days that it's boring are those are the days that I realize, you know, like when it's good, like what is it? And so, like, to answer your question, I think the people that I like talking to, and sometimes it has nothing to do with the other person. I find that, like, I enjoy talking to people more when I feel more accomplished. Like, if, like, I can go back to my house, like, after the podcast today, and my mom can ask me, like, oh, like, where'd you go? Or, like, whatever, like, you know, like, how was it? And I'll be fine. Like, I'll be happy to talk about it and be like, oh, we talked about all this on the podcast, and, you know, it was real cool. So, like, when I feel accomplished, like, I have more to talk about. But say, like, I was being lazy all day and all I did was play, like, freaking League of Legends all day, and my mom, like, how was your day? Like, low-key feels
like, yeah, it's just gonna be like, I mean, I really
like,
didn't do much.
Yeah, like, I didn't do shit. Like, there's nothing to talk about. Like, so, you know, sorry. Like,
yeah, you kind of have like, you kind of bummed out, like, low-key when you're like getting confronted about your day.
Yeah, like, and so it's nice. Like, I love those people. It's like, shout out Nicole again. Like, she's always asking me like what I'm up to, like, you know, what I did. Like, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes the days that I'm bored with the conversation is like literally because I didn't do shit for the past like 24 hours. And I'm like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
But that's cool, you know, like having that kind of consistency, because it just like keeps you on top of your game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of like what they can do, I mean, bro, like I think it's like straight up accountability both ways. Yeah. It's like, what were you doing in the past 24 hours, right?
Right.
So if you have like someone that's kind of like on the same wavelength as you, in terms of like what y'all are doing consistently, like in your own personal lives, like I think it's so easy to talk to the person,
keeping each other up.
Even like with you, like I think there's been days where we hung out and there was just so much to share.
Oh yeah, there's like a whole vomit.
Yeah,
like I got stuff to tell you, bro.
Yeah, like there was so much to share. It's like, oh, I just talked to this person, and oh yeah, like for me, like I think like the last time I really I had a lot to tell you was, I don't know, like 3 hangouts ago, where I was telling you about like all this mental growth I was making since being home, and like freaking starting school and like my plan with work and money and
Mm-hmm.
where I want to be in about a year. Like that was the last time I had a lot
Mm-hmm.
to talk to you about, and that's where it was like it was dope.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, like I haven't even like felt like I haven't even felt like hitting you up because I'm just like, damn, I'm low key embarrassed.
I don't have anything to tell him. Like,
yeah, I'm
no,
just
I
like,
feel it.
you know
No,
what I'm
I
saying?
feel it. I mean, that's the same for me. Like, I didn't really have like, hey, Ray, I edited the podcast today, bro. Like, you proud of me, bro? Like, it's like, no, but I like, I know that's nothing. I don't have like, there's really nothing I can really tell you. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I feel it. I think honestly though, like that's still a good quality to have. Like I even still struggle with that, just with like, even with my girlfriend, Loki. I'm like Loki gonna expose myself, but like I have trouble like communicating like with people just on a very basic level, just for as far as like how like what I even did. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like even with my girlfriend. And she calls me out on it, and that's cool. Like I obviously like I'm not like a bad boyfriend or anything. I'm like leaving her in the dark. That's not what's happening. It's just like it takes a little bit for me to tell her like what's going on my side, only because like you said, like I just don't have much to say. You know what I'm saying? But like she kind of pulls it out of me just because like just I don't know, I don't care. Like just tell me what happened. I was like, okay, well I took a shit. Like I made some food. Yeah. It's like, well, that's great. Like you conquered the day. Like did you make your bed? Like yeah, I made my bed. Blah blah blah. Like that's great. You know, and honestly, like the fact that she does that, it like I never really think about doing it to other people or like expressing myself like that to other people. But honestly though, like the more that I think about it, I feel like that like on a like to a certain extent, I feel like that's kind of healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it is. You know what's crazy? You remember Joaquin?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joaquin's like that, bro.
Dude,
he texts me all the time. He's just like, bro, you want to work out at 12, bro? You want to come over and like work out? Like, I'm just like, oh, yeah, sure, bro. Like, whatever. Like,
no doubt.
I love that shit, bro.
Yeah, like that. I honestly like I think with this new year, like obviously with my own personal endeavors, like I want to try to be like a better friend, like through and through, just to people. You know,
just
what
like
I'm
being a person,
just being a better person, like conversing with people more. Like because the like my perception of what being a friend has been for a while, and like I've always perceived myself as just like entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Like I'm, and it's this like this is no like on no deprecation like self-deprecation shit, but like I always thought like, you know, I at some point I even thought it was cool. Like I was just like the monkey of the group, right? Of any given group. Like I'm cracking jokes, like I'm making people laugh, blah, blah, blah. But, like, that was, like, the only thing I brought to it.
Let's go with Jester, bro.
Yeah, the Jester. I was always the Jester of the monkey, group. Well, I mean, yeah, the flip, the monkey that does a backflip over and over again with the with the bells. Ting, ting. Yeah, but, Jester's actually a lot better. But that's, like, you know, just one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. Like, that's pretty much, like, oh, yeah, he's a fool, bro. Gabe's a fool. And, like, that's kind of how I saw myself, and it wasn't like a bad thing as far as like me thinking about it too hard. It's like, oh yeah, I just, you know, I'm the funny guy. I like being the funny guy. But as I grow older, you know, like I don't really have that energy to be like a jester all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then once that's over, like once I don't want to be like, once I'm not cracking jokes all the time, then what's there? Like you peel that film back, and then what's there?
No hip.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, because that's probably part of the identity that I've like had to shed a little bit as well. Because like I mean, like especially like my old memories of myself had a lot to do with high school, at least in this environment. Because I mean, that's just the last time I was in Virginia. Really, was like high school.
Yeah.
And that's when there was all these people around, no COVID, like whatever. You know, where it was me being entertaining was like it was interesting enough for me,
right?
Like
right.
Because I just had that many people around. There was enough like I don't know. There was just enough like people energy, like whatever. There's enough viewpoints to be taking a hold of, and now it's not really like that, you know. And even like the space where you would do that, which is social media, is so volatile nowadays. Yeah. It's like, if you try to be like a clown or like try to entertain people on social media nowadays, it's like not even fun because of like the way that it is. It's like everybody's so weird and like non-interactive and judgmental, like, so it's like, so all of that is kind of like gone right now.
So, like genuine interaction is like very few and far between.
Yeah. So nowadays, like, I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, damn, like, I really only know how to interact with people on a one-on-one basis nowadays. Like, I mean, I suck at like groups now, bro. Like, I swear to God.
I'm gonna be real, bro. Like, you know, at the party, I was like kind of like that. That's supposed to be my element,
right?
Like that's supposed to be my, like that's where I live. But I haven't been in that situation in so long where it's just like I'm over here. Like I did fine. Like it's not like I'm over here like, you know, tripping over myself. But like I should be excelling. You know what I'm saying?
Hip.
So. That's where it's you know, I totally get it. I totally understand what you're saying. It's rough, dude. But no, honestly though, like going back to the you know, who my identity, like as far as like high school goes, like I was in a bunch of different like friend groups. I hopped around at least like 4 or 5. And what's cool though, honestly, it really makes you kind of realize that, like, not to say that like there are people that were fake or like not real friends, but there were some people from each group that like remembered, oh, Gabe, right? They remembered like that one guy.
Yeah.
And still like kept in touch after a while, or even if they didn't keep in touch, they would see me out in public or whatever, and like they would run to me and be like, hey bro, what's up, how you doing, like how's have you been? Like stuff like that like that, like, yeah, and I might never talk to them again after that interaction.
You know what's, you know, like now that we're talking about like groups and all these old things, like I think that's like that straight up is part of some of like the connections that are slipping. Yeah. You know, because I think there's certain people that like fit in when there's a group, you know, but on a one-on-one basis, like they're not titans. It's like just that, not like know? That. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You know, like I think of like if like that whole group got together, like that we'd have a ball. Right. You know. Right. But it's just like on a one-on-one basis.
Sometimes some people just they don't thrive in that situation.
Yeah, or like that's not their strength, you know. Right. I remember being one of the more vocal people in the group. Yeah. And stuff like that, but it's like, and then you're thinking about some of like the people who are less vocal, and you try to talk to them one-on-one, and then it's like it's just
it's kind of weird. But like in that group situation, like you said, yeah, they're cool. They're cool. They're making jokes. They're hanging with everybody. Exactly. No, I totally get that, man.
That's really crazy to think about. Actually,
it is.
It's like that because remember we were talking about it, like it's a mystery. Like what's happening? Right. You know, it's just okay. Like the group element's gone. So many things are gone. Really. You know, so many things are gone.
Yeah, like this stage in life, when you look at all the people that you know, the people that you're close to, the people you're not close to, like everyone that you considered a friend at any point in time, and you look back where you are right now, it's so strange. It's such a strange thing because like we're all still technically connected. Like we got Instagram, we got whatever, TikTok, Twitter, so we know what's happening. And it's crazy to kind of see like where everybody's at right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
everybody like thinks about like friendships differently too. Like I remember, like, dude, Anthony came like hung out at my house for like 8 hours like the other day, like nice day before New Year's. And he was. One of the things we ended up talking about was like, cause like one of our mutual friends was like trying to like break it off with him. Like it was just like, bro, one of our mutual friends was trying to like say like he's not cool with Anthony no more, right? And Anthony was like, bro, he was like, I've known you for 11 years. He was like, I know you. Like, he's like, nobody knows you like that, bro. I know your entire your life, bro. Right. You gonna try and tell me we're not friends anymore? bro.
I feel that.
But that's how it was like in Anthony's mind. That's how it was. Like he was just like, he was like, you're not about to try and tell me that we're not friends no more, bro. Like he was like,
you have to fight me, bro.
He's like, I know you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's like, nobody even knows you. Like, you think your girlfriend know you like that? Nope. No, bro. She don't even know. She don't even know you. I know you. You that's know what I'm saying? Tough, bro. And so like that's like that made me laugh because like, you know, just like that's crazy to me, you know, like just thinking about that because like I'm not the one, like that's not me. per se.
Yeah.
But like hearing Anthony say that out loud was crazy. I was just like, damn.
No, I
was like, because he takes that serious.
Yeah, 100%. I relate to him to a certain extent, bro. I'm not gonna just let go of someone like that. I'm not like just gonna do that like out the wazoo like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna at least fight. You know what I'm saying? Like at least have a conversation with you. Like, but why? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna at least do that. Like I'm gonna try my hardest. But like, dude, I totally get it. I totally get that. Like, obviously, you know, as far looking back, there are some people that like just faded off, but there are also, as you know, some people that just like were just ripped away, right? And obviously, like everyone's gonna deal with that differently. But like, dude, I literally have a different opinion on that now, even from like when we talked about it.
Yeah.
Like I came to a like not a completely different like conclusion, but like it's evolved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like because I still think about it from time to time. It's not like on my mind all the time, but like it evolves into it's like it gets clearer and clearer every day. Basically,
well, that's the kind of thoughts that I'm talking about too. Like to keep going like in circles about like the mysteries that I had, right? You know, because I was talking about how like with like certain friends that like I'm drifting away from, where like part of the issue is that like kind of like their mind isn't like following those patterns where they're making like you know, deeper thoughts about like, you know, like just whatever, like what's personal to them, like making, they're not like making their identity stronger, or like visiting old experiences, or like at least being like very aware of their new experiences, or like doing all that, right? Like so like what you're talking about right now is like those are the experiences that I like hearing about and that I like sharing with people as well. It's like when I sit down with you, that's what I'm talking about. Like this is what we're doing right now. Like I'm telling you like that, like, you know, finding new connections and like deciphering what's happening with the old ones is what's happening in my life, and we're having a whole ass conversation about this. But if I sat down with like that person and I was trying to tell them about like what's all that
roadblock, like brick wall,
brick wall.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like that right there is what I'm talking about. Like I need that in order to like enjoy a conversation with someone.
Yeah. It's always like, I think you didn't explicitly say it, but like we got to a point where I understand, like I know your answer without you actually saying it. It's like you want people that are always moving forward, essentially. Yeah. Like a continuous motion. Like even if like they trip, they get back up and just keep like walking forward.
Yeah, because there's like a certain process that's always going to be interesting.
Right.
You know, like there's a part of like human life and human experience that is always going to be interesting to me. You know, but if you're not even interested in your own human experience enough to be aware of it and to interact with it and decipher it daily, you know, to make sense of it, to find meaning in it, and to share it with your friends, like it's like obviously we're not gonna have anything to talk about, man. Like like I guess we're not talking anymore. Like that's fine. Like,
right. And there's only so much that you can talk about, like external things. There's only so much you can say. Right, like, oh yeah, I went like, oh
you
man,
did you episode?
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, did you see the new patch notes for Smash or whatever? Yeah, and it's like, yeah. I mean, oh, Ike's broken right now. Oh, cool, yeah. And then that's it. Like, there's nothing else to talk about. You know, like dude, it took me a little bit to get to that point myself, man. Like I was always about like external stuff, just talking about like anything that wasn't about me.
What's going on?
Yeah, because like it was easy. Like it's easier. It was easier to talk about other stuff, you know. But like literally now, I'm at a point where like I would rather talk about this stuff than like anything else.
Because you know like on top of internal stuff, it's like one of like the even bigger points. So talking about the internal stuff is like that's what allows me to have like a regular ass conversation with people. But when it goes even further is when I can like share abstract ideas with someone. Exactly. When I can share abstract things, when I can like share things that don't even exist with someone, just like thoughts, philosophies, like ideas, solutions to like social issues. Like if I can share like conceptual things with someone and have that person interact with it mentally, then I'm really interested in that person. Yeah. It's like between you, Army, And like even Rochelle, like lately has been like really cool with that. Like those are like my favorite people in the world right now.
Oh man, that's
Like,
awesome, dude. Like no, and I'm getting to that point too myself, man. Like it's like I said, I'm always or at least trying to progress and like trying to think more abstractly, trying to push my my intellectual muscles. You know what I'm saying? Like as much as I can, just thinking about things don't normally think about on a regular basis.
Right.
You know. And honestly, dude, like those are some of my favorite thoughts as of late. You know, just coming to like my own conclusions about things, like even going as far as to research stuff. You know,
yeah, bro.
Like it's like wow, like this is crazy. Like even if you came to the wrong conclusion, like finding out like what's actually right is amazing. You know what I'm saying?
You know, like remember, like it was like one of the first podcasts that I did with you, where I was talking about, or it might have been like a conversation we had before or after. But I was telling you about how I wanted to get I wanted to start reading more books.
Yeah,
because straight up, and like the reason for it is because like, bro, like if you're like lonely because you want more intellectual things to interact with, books are your best friend, bro. Like there is so much in books. And, like the reason you thought of it is because you like talk about research. Just like, bro, remember we were talking about just a second ago, where like, oh, like I didn't do anything today. You know, like someone asked you like you know how'd your day go. Reading a book just makes everything better. It's just like,
oh yeah,
actually, I read this today in this book, and it was a crazy idea because I went off on this tangent because of like what it said in there, you know. And you share that with whoever you got, you know, in your life, and then you guys both grow because of that, like the new stuff that you just learned or that you just explored in your own mind, you know.
Yeah, dude. Like literally, like I do want to get into reading. Like that's something that like I've been thinking about fairly recently though, but. Like what I'm doing currently, and I'm probably gonna do it every day until whenever. But like I've been just watching like one, I'm trying to learn something new like every week. Just like going into it like hardcore every week. Like this week, I've been trying to learn how to code.
Coding.
Yeah. Like just something random. Like I don't even want to make it into a career. Just like knowing how to code would just be cool as hell.
That's one of the things that like I've just never. Oh man,
it's such a cool thing though, man. No, it's so cool.
It's such a cool skill, but it's so niche.
I know, but
everybody who knows how to code is like all over.
Oh, dude,
you would have you could talk to Army about that.
Oh man, and I'm not I'm not gonna get into like the specifics of like all that stuff, but like it's just the fact that like picking a random thing to learn about every week is so cool. It's so like literally just like if there was if there were just like things to learn, like a map of just like shit, and you just point at one thing every week and just go hard on it for a week and learn about it, dude.
The technology is where it's at right now.
That's freaking amazing.
But that's as much as I can say about that right now, you know. Yeah. But that's exactly why I like abstract ideas, because it's just like if I explain, not to like freaking shit on that anyway. Like, no, of course. But that's what I'm saying is like when it comes to like abstract ideas, you literally walk up to anybody, and you tell them like, you know, like for example, just like, you know, what is the meaning of life? Like that's something that they can ponder immediately. Like they don't have to have a background in like well, such as like I would need a background in coding in order to like to even have like a decent conversation with you about coding.
Right.
But you ask someone like if they're happy or like what is the meaning of life, all that stuff. Like you can. Yeah,
like, everyone has a basic understanding.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
They have like an ability to speak on that conversation immediately, and that's why I love that so much.
Yeah. There's always like even if it's really small, there's always a bridge there.
I think that's the reason why I like friends that can do that, because it's just like because there's always going to be like conversation to be had.
Yeah, of course.
Because like especially as like I start like, you know, my whole like music schooling tomorrow, and like as far as like when it gets into music theory, you know, audio production, all this stuff, like there's gonna be like a lot of specifics that nobody even like is gonna have an understanding of.
Yeah.
But that's like not what like the parts of it that I would be sharing with people. Like I think like if I were to share my experience in like music production school, it would be like, yo Gabe, just check out this beat that like you know what I'm saying? Like I would show you something that you can actually like actively like engage with.
Yeah, exactly. No, I that's like the biggest thing is like you know, making bridges with people. That's like the coolest thing anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like I only brought that up only because like I just want to expand my own mind personally. But
Yeah,
as far
just thinking out loud.
yeah, but I totally get what you mean though. Just like being able to sit back and just like talk to somebody about pretty much anything, like, because you can't do that with everybody, because like even if they have a basic understanding of like philosophy or like if what's the meaning of life, like some people, their brain is going to short out sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or they're just not interested,
or they're just not interested enough to even think about it. But but when you talk to someone, when you sit down with someone and they're just like, yeah, like boom boom bam, yeah, whatever, dude, no like cap. they're like hitting off like every point, and you're just like, whoa, like I didn't even think about that, and you just like bounce off with, dude, that's the greatest feeling ever. I totally get that.
It feels fun, bro. Like,
yeah, it's
like
great.
Time passing, and you grow.
You don't even like realize the time like fly by sometimes. Like I 100%, I totally agree.
Yeah, bro. Like no cap. Like I actually did, like, because me and my boy, like, we had a long conversation like in my house, like, and we were talking about like the meaning of life. You know, we both asked each other, we both had different like kind of like thoughts about it, but like after that he went into the group chat and he just asked the same question because he was like, damn, that was really productive, like that was a crazy conversation. But he went into the group chat and he asked the same question to everybody. Mind you, like 8 people in there, like, bro, like nobody answered. Like
some people just like, they don't just I don't know, man.
That's what I'm. So like that's the thing. Is you like, it's like some people just don't like, they don't even fuck with it. Like or that's not in their mind like all the time. Yeah. Like, one of my friends, like, sorry to.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
One of my friends, but he's doing very well. Like, you know, like it's like he could care less. Again, same story, different reasons. Right. So this country's on fire. You know, capitalism's kind of failing right now. Corporations are like destroying shit.
Yep.
School costs way too much. All these problems, all these societal issues, XYZ. But he's like low key like rich because he just did so well. He like got paid to go to freaking an amazing school, became an engineer, works for Ford, has his own house, cars, whatever. Yeah, he's all that stuff, but he's just above it all. He's you know, he's
like, I won at capitalism. I won at life.
He just he won at capitalism. Yeah, so he's just above it all. Right. You know, like, you know, he still has like, he's educated, so he has an understanding of like the issues going on, but like, is he invested? No, because he won. Right.
he's like, there's no need for him to like go out and just like think about this stuff every day. Like, yeah, it's like, I got it.
it's very noticeable. Yeah. You know, because like I talk to him pretty often, and you know, I sometimes I like talk to him about societal issues and stuff like that, and like his like the way he responds is so far removed. He's just like, yeah, but it doesn't really matter because you could just ignore it. You know, like, just say no.
I mean, you can
ignore it. You can ignore it. You know, and I'm just like, dog, like, no, like, I don't want to ignore it. Like, this is important to me right now. Like, right. Like, I wanted to get better.
Exactly.
You know.
Nah, I feel that, dude. It's a lot of people. Like, I mean, I know people myself. Like, they have the capability of talking about this stuff. Like, they're educated, like, and if they tried, we could have a conversation, you know? But, like, it's the fact that, like, I don't care. Like, I'm not into politics or, like, it's just...
I don't want to call it lazy, you know? But, like, some people just don't have a stake in it. Like,
yeah.
You know?
I don't think it's laziness either. It's literally just, like, uninterest. Yeah. It's, like, well, that's a part of it. But, and another part is just, like, you know, they literally don't have a stake. Like, they won. Like, they're fine. Like, whether it goes to shit or it doesn't,
either they won or they don't care, you know?
One of the two. Yeah, uninterest or they succeeded at life.
No, hip. Yeah, because...
Or both.
I mean, some people are just like... Some people are just... That's the crazier part, you know? At least with him, like, whatever, you won, bro, and, like, it's not that important for you to, like, to keep... Whatever. You put in your time. You know, whatever, that's fine. But I think it's even crazier for the people that like that still have a stake in it. Like this is your problem, bro, and you're ignoring it. Like, right. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Those are the people that really freak me out. Yeah. You know, because like imagine like I don't know. For example, imagine being like a LGBTQ,
That doesn't
like
vote.
yeah, like that doesn't vote
Yeah.
or like that isn't uh, kind of like just being active in general. Like say in your workplace where like you kind of notice that there's inequalities like for your community,
Right.
and you're like and then you just don't do anything about it, right?
Yeah.
That's like the most glaring example that I could give. But it's just like that's what I'm getting at is like for people that like have issues that are affecting them and they're like not even they're not even like worried about it, like that shit is crazy to me.
It's worrying. It's definitely like it's honestly scary because it's like a lot of America, to be honest.
No, because like there's a lot of things that could be better if more
Yeah.
people were like if more people were just like
Just active,
cared a
just
little
cared.
bit,
Yeah.
because and it's like the craziest part, like again to reiterate, is that like they still have a stake in it, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I think like this is kind of like what everybody's thought process on it that doesn't care or claims that they don't have a stake in it is like because I even used to think I kind of still do think of it this way myself, but like I feel like these people just like realize like they're just a cog in the machine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And it's like even if I did do something, even if like me being this one cog in the machine tops out the machine, it's still gonna work. It's still gonna function just fine without this cog.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I told you like this by ourselves like a couple hangouts ago. Like I think you're when you first came back.
Yeah.
Where it's like everybody needs to jump off.
Yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? For us to do something. And like because everyone has that mindset, it's like, well, I'm not the one to do it. That's literally why why nothing's happening, because if everyone came to that conclusion like, okay, if I do my part, we can make it happen.
Yeah, man. Like some of my friends are talking about like, because I keep mentioning like the kind of like America's like really like dying right now. Like, and the reason like I don't know if like people aren't like aware, but like bro, like this like we don't have like free healthcare. We like other first world countries have like free university. Like it's like stuff like that happening around the world, and we're like. The reason we're not getting that is because they're spending so much on the military. Like it's weird. It's like legitimately weird that like we're not doing as well as other countries.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing in the world, and the only explanation is that like people are like big corporations and the government like is literally trying to keep people stupid.
Yeah.
Like why not give people educations for free? It's like, oh well, stupid people don't know how to fix things. So like we'll keep them stupid so they can't fix it, and so the corporations can keep making money.
Right.
XYZ. But so anyways, me and my friends are on this topic, and we're like talking about like how to fix it. But like some of the group is just like, I don't care, bro. I'm figuring out how to leave. People are just talking about
jumping
leaving.
ship.
Yeah. People are just talking about leaving. And it's like,
dude, that's all you heard when like Trump was elected. That's all you heard. I'm moving to Canada. I'm going to Mexico. Blah blah blah. Like everybody, I'm out of here. Like
invalid, bro. Because I mean, immigrants like from like even like my family like came freaking from Guatemala. Because it was shitty over there. But like it's crazy to think about the U.S. being the one.
Yeah.
Now it's the U.S. that people are jumping ship from.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's sad, dude. It's so sad. Like we live in, and the thing is, like, I don't hate the U.S.
No, me neither.
I don't.
I want to fix it.
I don't hate the U.S. I feel like I think it's true. Like we are like one of the greatest nations in the world, but like we are slowly descending away from that. Like we suck right now.
Yeah,
like hardcore. We suck.
Because that's my thing about it, right? Is like that's what I'm talking about. Is that I want to make it better, and like, but it's getting so hard for like getting so hard for anybody to even want to try, because like you said, like everybody just feels like a cog in the machine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like.
It's just like the process of getting everyone out of that mindset, because it's essentially just like the voting thing. Like
that's what I was saying, bro. I thought to myself, I was like, you know what would be the most like important thing that would make everything better is investing more in education, because the moment that everybody is more well educated and more capable intellectually, that's when everything's gonna change, because everybody's gonna be like, damn, we really need to go to these freaking state elections and these city elections and all this stuff, and everything's just gonna like turn upside down because people are gonna realize how much power they have.
It's sad because like this generation is not going to be the one to do it. Although we're starting to become self-aware, we're not the ones to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like not even the next, probably 3-4 generations down the line is probably when like it's actually going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's sad, but like it takes a long time for things to change, man. It takes such a long time. Like it's deep rooted. All this stuff is so deep rooted.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, I realize, like I'm only gonna live so long, but like, so much has happened in my lifetime, and so much happened before me too. Because I mean, thankfully, I didn't grow up with like I didn't feel like I was discriminated against being like a Hispanic person. Yeah. So that was crazy that like I just didn't deal with that. Yeah. And that I lived in the community that I did, because like other people just didn't have that experience. Some people, like, racism's still crazy, like was crazy like for a lot of people growing up, but for me it wasn't. Right. So there's a lot of stuff that happens in like a lifespan, but like you have to be okay with what your generation is capable of doing. And for us, like I don't think it's gonna be too much besides like kind of like these social movements, like normalizing like gay marriage, for example. I don't think it's gonna be much past that. Like I think
we could be doing so much more. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not knocking any of that stuff. But
I think like the free healthcare and like the the free university. Like I'm not sure that that's our generation, to be honest, because like just the way that these corporations are moving right now is like and like the lack of education at the moment is really hard too. And especially like I would consider this kind of a depression, and especially especially in a depression, bro. Like people are just so worried about surviving that like kind of like pushing the government for different things is like not even on their mind as much. Yeah. So it would take like a whole like different dynasty, of change to happen,
Yeah. Yeah, man. I've been thinking about like what's like the most drastic thing we could do. You know what I'm saying? Like what is the thing that we could do?
I think the most like drastic things aren't like they're not even worth like. It's not that it's not worth doing. I just think they're not necessary. I think like I think like in recently, I guess like in the past couple of years, like I found so much usefulness for like grace, like there were times in the past where like literally pouring tea into the harbor was like that was the vibe. Like rioting was the vibe.
Right.
But like nowadays I don't think so.
You know why though? Is because we have information.
Yeah.
Because we know things now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like we have access to the information that doesn't require that level of response. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like, and so I don't think like it's a matter of like drastics. It's just like what strategically is like the strongest move that you can make, because it's never gonna be something. It's not gonna be something that can change it overnight. It's like there's got to be like, and I was thinking about this too. I was like, there's got to be a way that you can like sue corporations for like what they're doing
and win. Yeah. I mean, you think about like even recently with the CDC. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you bringing it down to 5 days,
knowingly like endangered like the human population. Like, it's like
like big corporations influence that decision.
There's gotta be a way for us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's just a matter of education.
That's it.
Yeah. It's a matter. It's so, and even like thinking about that abstractly, it's like, so now after like we have this conversation, like I can go and try and research on how someone would go about like confronting and changing these things. A lot, whatever it is that you have to do, lobbying, freaking. Because, like, my thing is, like, you know, like, on Twitter, XYZ, like, you know, like, these social media platforms, one of my pet peeves is that people always stop at just, like, they just yell the problem. They just yell the problem and then never even think a little bit about a solution.
Because man, it goes so far beyond that too, because we live in the age of information, we also unfortunately live in the age of social media, right? Where like the attention span of people is so short, because you like you said, you yell at a problem like this sucks, like the CDC, blah blah, whatever the problem is, and everyone's like, yeah. The next day is something else.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, let's go. And then it's a completely different problem the next day.
So like, on that topic, like I've been thinking about too, where like I really think that like people like need to start having like etiquette about like, you know, what they post in terms of like social issues. I think if you're not willing to speak at length about a problem, you probably shouldn't.
Don't speak on it.
Exactly.
Don't speak on it.
You know. Because you're bound to misinform someone.
A lot of people are out here like saving face, man. Like a lot of people out here are saving face, meaning like they'll speak on an issue they have like that they quite literally have no stake in, just to like appeal, like to not even appeal, but to appear a certain way to a group of people, for no reason.
Yeah.
For absolutely no reason. For what? For brownie points. You know, just so they can get more clicks, they can get more followers, more clout, whatever they need to say, whatever they need to do. Like, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter. They post a black square. They got like 60 followers.
That shit was
right?
crazy to me.
Right?
That was crazy.
So it's like,
were you hip? Did you see any of the people that like? You remember when like there was the terrorist attack? And you know the
yeah,
you know, and so like people changed like their pictures on Facebook to like the Eagle Globe and Anchor,
right.
And I was like for reals. I was like, you guys like, you think changing your profile
that
picture
did something?
Yeah,
that did something to y'all. Like
I was like, you of all people, like government workers know that they don't care about your profile picture.
No one's looking at a black square and being like, yeah, you know what? They're right. Like, we do, like there is systematic oppression. Like
actually vibes, you know. Like I think I'll go change that right now. Like, you guys really made a point, man.
You know what? This is a banger right here. Let's get to work, fellas. Like, no, that's not happening. In what world is that going to help? Is that going to help or do anything?
Yeah, bro. You know, and like that's like kind of the thing that I want to get at. Is just like, I don't know how invested people are in actually making the world better, you know? Like it's almost as if like if they can succeed on social media that they're fine with how shitty the US is becoming.
Yeah.
It's like, well, at least people on social media like me.
Exactly. That's as far as they'll go. That's literally it. That's all that people care about. Likes, clicks, follows, that's it.
Oh my god.
Saving face is the name of the game.
And I like did you see the tweet that I made recently where I was talking about a lot of people are pick-me's.
Yes. I read it like literally earlier today.
Yeah. I was talking about like there's a lot of people who are pick-me's and like and like they don't even think so. They don't like nobody even knows because like all they do is like hold their tongue when they like on their real opinion of things and then support things that are like societally accepted.
Right.
Like that's all they do. And like to me that's a pick-me. Like
I agree.
Cause you know, like, cause they just straight up don't do anything besides try to be, as socially acceptable as possible.
Yeah.
You know, and that shit's like whack. Like
it doesn't help anything.
And it's only becoming more popular, and that's the reason like I've been feeling like just getting off of social media altogether.
The problem with being socially acceptable, like everyone thinks that like whatever the problem is or whatever is like relevant, like okay, if we're let's talk about like a pedophile, for example. Everyone's gonna be like, yeah, screw that guy, right? He touched kids, whatever, right? But in the end, there's no new like mandates. There's no like there's nothing new to like prevent this from happening, like on a deeper level.
What's
You know what I'm
super
saying?
crazy to me is like you don't even have to be controversial. If you straight up talk about the issue at length and you give some type of nuance to that issue, somehow, some way you're gonna get canceled. Like if
Exactly.
so in terms of like pedophiles, we'll go with that for now.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? There are people that like study these people, and like most pedophiles are people that were sexually abused when they were children. Like most pedophile, like like and saying that alone, like motherfuckers will come out the cut like
You deserve to die. Like
you really
like
you really think that like it's even worth considering that like all that stuff.
Yeah,
It's just like yes,
yeah.
it's worth considering because that's the reason they exist. Stupid.
the like literally like when I say like preventing this from happening even further is like these people are sick.
Exactly.
Like these people are literally sick.
So you can't have sympathy for these people. Like no, yes,
No, every single one of these guys deserves to die. Like no one's saying what they're doing is like is right or like we're not excusing what's happening here. Like we're attacking the root of the. Everyone wants to attack what's visible.
Mm-hmm.
What's plainly there. Like everyone knows like you have to hate pedophiles. Like you gotta kill them on sight. Everyone knows that. Right? But no one actually wants to uproot the problem, look at it, and like, okay, but how do we stop this from growing? Because like you're allowing all this stuff to grow. You're fine with it growing. Then you want to cut the weeds.
Yeah, because that's the thing about it, bro. Because if you don't actually solve the issue, you could kill all these motherfuckers if you want. But
there's more is gonna pop up
because you didn't actually solve the societal issue. There's gonna be more.
Right.
It's like it's not enough. It's not enough to just hate,
right.
like or to scream at the problem.
It's easy. It's easy to hate. It's easy to hate.
Yeah.
It's very easy to hate a pedophile, and it's very easy to post that on social media, to retweet, like whatever you need to do, to be like you said, going back to being socially acceptable. Because being socially acceptable doesn't necessarily mean progress.
Yeah, bro.
We're just being stagnant.
Mm-hmm. Dude, and I take this L all the time, bro. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the all men thing, I take the L every time because I don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, die on the hill, dude. Like it's like literally, 100%.
Straight up, I don't care, like bro, like because it's so funny too, like what they do to like.
No, because I agree. I like I 100% agree.
They'll be like, oh, if you don't get pussy, just like just say that or like, or whatever. Like, oh, all the like they try to like attack your masculinity and shit
Dude.
like that. I'm just like, bro, like how like unwoke can you be? Like,
what's crazy, man? Like, I feel like so many people, if they weren't pygmies, they would 100% agree with you.
Yep.
Like I know deep down on the inside they do. 100%. Like even if it's subconscious, they do. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just the fact that they don't want to get canceled.
Exactly, bro.
You know?
That's what I'm getting at. Like that's what I was getting at with that tweet. You know, like it's like damn. I was like really like this many people are pygmies that they just like are okay with it.
Yeah.
Like they're just okay with living like subpar lives because that's just what's socially acceptable like at the moment. It's like, bro, like I don't want to be berated every single day like for no reason. Like I'm not just gonna sit here and accept that. Like I'm not gonna be a pick me to that extent. That's weird. That's lame.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for me to do that.
Yeah, man. It's definitely frustrating. To say the least. It's something that like you pull up on like every social media app or website, like TikTok, Facebook, or Meta, whatever it's called now, Instagram, like all those websites, it's all the same thing. It's like whatever is relevant right now. It's like there is a correct way to react, and if you don't react in that way, then good luck.
Yeah, and so the reason why the thing that I was thinking about, like, because of all of that, like the subsequent thought to all of those things for me was just like, okay, so like if there's nothing I can do individually to make kind of like society's their hive mind like more like woke or like more nuanced, more like deep, then there's always you always have the choice to just go back like to to looking inside, right? Like what can you control, type of thing.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that. And I was like, so what can I do? Since I understand like the issue at a certain level, and I'm not stuck just yelling at people all day on the internet. Like, what can I do to further my my knowledge on the issue, and what can I do to actually solve issues that are not even being addressed yet, you know. And so that's what I've been doing. Like, so for example, like I was thinking to myself about like the pronoun kind of, not the pronoun thing, like the non-binary kind of like that whole system of like people kind of like creating like genders that they feel identify them more because because they say that gender is a social construct, which I would agree with. Sure. But my thing is like, now that we've established that gender is a social construct, why would the solution be to create more genders? Right. Because I think like the more valid solution is just to be. Yeah, consider everybody just a human.
Just be. Exist.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I vibe with it. I mess with it. I mean, that makes the most sense. Like when you put it that way, it's more like, why create like more of what you don't want? You know what I'm saying?
I think eventually, probably not in my lifetime, but I think eventually that's what it's going to come to, because it's just the most logical thing.
Right.
If you're not taking genders into account, right, then that's just a vibe. Because my thing is like, usually it's just like there's male, female, and then a lot of the time people just say non-binary.
Right.
Like that's the most like, it's just like what, like the if there's no identifying, because like the thing when you talk about like masculine and feminine traits, like they're pretty identifiable, But when people talk about non-binaries, it's like, what are the identifying traits of non-binaries? Like, well, they're not feminine or masculine.
Right.
It's like, well, that's nothing specific. You're just being different.
You're just why label it then?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like there's no reason to do it at all.
Right.
So it's just like, well, and my friend Chris, he like, I mean, don't cancel him, right? Don't cancel him, but he mentioned it like this. He's just like, people, because like this is all they know, right? At the moment, this is all they know is like, is gender is like a valid, like, is just part of the system right now, and that you have to have that as part of your identity, right? And so they want to create like kind of like these gender roles that like fit them, because otherwise they won't have an identity. Like they want to fit in, basically. Right. Because they're just not okay with like abolishing it, because I mean that would rob them of their identity at the moment. Which is like, it's like weird to think about too, because like when I think about my identity, it doesn't even go like that. Like I don't even think that like being a man is like as part of me. I like, when I think about myself, like my identity goes like, oh, like I think about how caring I am about the human race, and how like how deep I'm willing to dive into like the philosophy of pursuit of happiness and all these things. Like that's my identity,
Yeah. You're bigger than just being a man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's never like thought, like I've never like, oh yeah, but like the way I think, the way I do those things has to be masculine. Right. It's like, no. Like
I just do them how I do them.
But like maybe that's a privileged like point of view, because I've always grown up with like being seen as exactly like as a man, I guess, Right. So I never had to question my identity, but like people who grew up questioning their identity all the time want to be known as their their gender for a certain amount of time before they can get to that point.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely like a unique, not necessarily unique. It's more of just like a more highlighted problem now than more than ever. And I like, the thing is, like, I acknowledge that like that's actually it's actually a thing. Like I don't knock anyone that's like going through something like that, or like wants to label themselves a certain way. But it's like going back to your original point. You know, it should all just we should all just throw it out. We should just throw it all out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like just let it be nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Hip, but like, you know what's the crazy part is like that if I decided to like create like just a big like I don't know like a couple page essay on it and just post it, like I swear to God I would get canceled so quick, bro.
Flamed.
And it's just like, what do you mean? You're saying non-binary is not valid? I'm saying like, dude,
No.
I'm saying like I think the reason you guys are like doing this because it's a, like whatever. I would explain myself, but it wouldn't come across.
Yeah.
I think like, and so that's what I'm saying. I think like there's a certain point where you just have to be okay with making personal progress and just leaving society to like defend for themselves.
Yeah, you know, man, real quick, just like a side thing, just to go off that little point you made about like if you were to make an essay, they'd like you get canceled for it. You know, I genuinely feel like a lot of these people, a lot of people out here that like are going hard for like whichever community, like they thrive off of just like problems. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to argue. Like they want to find a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't give the benefit of the doubt. It's all about like what they perceive.
I feel like it's like a learned behavior, because like they think like if they just yell at a problem like long enough that like the intellectuals and the lawmakers and XYZ like those people are just gonna pick up the slack and just fix the problem for them because they yelled for long enough. Like, and I feel like that's such an ugly mindset to have because like it's like you're a civilian too, like you're part of it. Just like stop expecting everybody to fix the problem for you just because you're yelling. Like I feel like that's very childish. Like if it bothers you that much, like please, like
do something about it.
Do something, yeah.
It's definitely something because a lot of the people that yell and just like are just going so hard are like literally are probably just as bad. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have a clean sheet of paper themselves.
Hip.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I wanted to say that too because like I'm just like thinking about like all the people who have been canceled, like all the celebrities and all that stuff that have been canceled, and I'm just like, I was like, you guys like realize that like part of the human experience is like literally growing and getting better. I was like, and I was like trying to think to myself. I was like, how did you possibly just excuse yourself completely, to the point that you will like try to ruin someone's life over their mistakes? Because I'm just like, to me in my mind, I'm like, there's no way that you went through your entire life, like just completely valid. Like you've never thought about stealing, you've never had a dirty thought before. Yeah. Like there's no way that you went your entire life without any of that. You're like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, it's like so sad because obviously people that are like famous or whatever like are put on a like kind of on an unfair pedestal because I get it, like you have to be on your best behavior because you're live, but in that very same breath everyone that's watching is not any better. Like it's so easy to say like I wouldn't have done that. It's so easy to say that, but had you been in that position, not even knowing, like you're just there, like you made it. Yep. You would have messed up too. You know might not have been the same situation, but you would have messed up somewhere.
That goes for like everything, bro. And like I might get some flack for this thought that I'm about to express, but like whatever, because that's what we're about. Like, but like, had the soul of a black person entered like a white person in like the 1940s. How do you know how hard it would be for them to just like straight up like not have like any, just to not be racist even? Like,
let me tell you something, bro. I'm so glad you brought that up. Literally this is like slavery times. Yeah. Right? Homie, like there's I'm sure you know this story too, but there's a white dude has a bunch of slaves. There's this one slave that he let him go. He's like, dude, you know what? You're all right. Like, here's like a bunch of land. Like, you're good. Like, you're fine. You're a free man. Go like prosper. Black dude got his land, and the first thing that he did once he got a little bit of money is he bought some slaves. Black dude bought some slaves, and on like he had like a big house, a bunch of land, and he was putting him to work. And on top of that, he was the most ruthless slave owner in that area. This black dude.
Jeez.
It's
I actually didn't know that story, but like, you know, I believe it because that's exactly what I was getting at, man. Because like it was a different time and people were growing up different.
right.
There was socialist people were being socialized that way.
Right.
Where slavery was a thing, where racism was a thing, all that like those, it hadn't occurred to society yet to abolish it, you know, and so like, like I don't know, are you gonna sit there and like call like all of those people just like inherently evil for the rest of your lives? Like, bro, like chill out. White people aren't that bad.
No.
It's just that's just how freaking like society went for a while.
I just don't. Yeah, 100%. I don't agree with just like it's the same thing with all men are bad.
Yeah, right?
It's the same sentiment. It's the same thing. All like I'm not gonna sit here and believe that every white person that ever exists in this current state is evil. They just like they're just possessed by their white slave owner ancestors at this point in time. Like I just don't believe that.
Yeah, because, like, think about it, bro. Like, racism is illogical. Like, it's straight up illogical. You think if, like, they were actually thinking about what they were doing, that they would stay racist? Like, bro, no, like, people just, like, straight up were mindlessly doing it.
It's taught, man. Literally, you're not born racist.
You're not.
You're not born racist. It's just taught. It's a generational thing.
And so that's what I'm getting at, like, or I mean, it just goes full circle because that's what I'm saying is that like, you can't just continuously cancel people that are like trying to be better.
Right.
Like I think like societally like it's more harmful than good because like you're encouraging people to fake growth instead of like actually make it.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
So like just I am pretending to be not racist.
Right.
And be like instead of actually, you know, growing up and not being racist anymore.
Right.
because they're so scared of being canceled.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
And like that fear like fosters like more contempt for like the marginalized group because like it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean,
it's vicious.
100%. And the thing is too, like I want it to be very known that like I'm aware that there are menaces out here. I'm aware that there are people out here that are just like they're just villains. I get that. You know, but to treat everybody like a villain or everybody of a certain group or race as a villain that's insane to me.
I think as much as like, because the thing is like, bro, like, okay, whatever. Like, cancel people as much as you want, but if you're going to be that vicious about canceling people, you also have to be very, like, forgiving when people get better.
Right.
Like, what are you doing not being forgiving? Because that's crazy, because, like, people are talking about, like, how, you know, felons need to have rehabilitation and all this stuff. It's just like, bro, it's the exact same concept. It's just, like, on a higher scale.
Right.
You know? Instead of it just being felons who need like a second chance, like, you know, it's just like a misguided person who just like, you know, they just got educated by society because you guys did a good job of canceling them, but you know, good job, whatever. But when they get better, why are you gonna sit there and like tell them they can't get better?
Right.
Like that's the thing.
You're like you're not allowed to.
So it's like whatever, like go ahead and cancel people, but at least be forgiving when they literally take your advice. Like that's the point of it. And that's what you're talking about too, because you're just like, yeah, I think they just like problems. I think they just like talking about problems and being so like oppositional. Just like, well, yeah, it is, because like imagine where it was like that, like what I'm saying, where it was people like calling out problems, because like whatever, accountability is fine.
Yeah.
But like, what if it was also that we were just like, after the accountability, we were just like, we were rehabilitating all these people.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. It's like almost full circle, where it's like
I think
set up and punchline. It's
exactly.
only set up.
It's just set up. I think it's very like emotionally lazy to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's just like we said, like it's so easy to just hate.
Yeah.
But doing like the actual emotional labor of like rehabilitating people and supporting them back into the society is like a lot more work, but it's like so it's so needed.
Yeah, man. How easy it is to hate and how hard it is to care for somebody is insane. But it's what's needed.
Like you're telling, like, what else do you have better to do? You know what I'm saying? Like what else? Like what?
It still took energy for you to hate somebody.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? You still like had to put in effort to go hard like that, right? You can still put in that same effort in helping the person become better. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, being like you said, oppositional and being like just it's almost instinctive. You can almost tell like they're like waiting. They're waiting, like
yeah.
They're like chained up almost, just like please, like mess up, trip.
You know what's crazy is I think like part of the issue, like why it's like overwhelmingly negative rather than supportive, is like communicating negativity is like probably like is very easy because it doesn't require like vulnerability, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like in order to actually support someone, like, you know, and help them like grow, like you like kind of have to like learn about them and like their growth and like their experience and like be like, you know, like whatever, you know, like it's like I said, it's more emotional labor.
Yeah.
And there's like more nuance to it, like, so I guess I can understand it a little bit, but like the thing is that if enough people are understanding like the difference and like the usefulness of actually like supporting people through like emotional growth and like all that stuff, it's just like there's got to be enough people that are like willing to rehabilitate or like to reintroduce that person to like society.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think we this one was pretty good. This episode was tough, dude. We got like, I think there's like a half and half.
It is a half and half, and like what I was gonna say about it too is just like it's funny because like at the beginning we were talking about like what is it, like, you know, what you know, we did like the connections and disconnections and then like why those things are happening.
Yeah.
And then we talked about like our ideal friendships and like what that consists of. And it's so funny because we went from the ideal connections, like that idea, and then immediately you and me just started doing it.
Yeah.
Exactly. we just started talking, we like bouncing back and forth, talking about these things. It was just it was
great.
You're just like,
we put it into practice live.
Exactly. It was just cool. Like, damn, I was like, you guys like, hit, bro, you want to be my friend? Be like Gabe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, bro. 100%. That's so sick, dude. I didn't even realize.
That's what I was thinking about low key in my brain. I was like, damn, we were just talking about the type of people we like, and then we just did it.
100%. That's what's so cool about it, though. That was like, I'm sure it was like it was subconscious for me. I'm sure it was for you as well, where it was just like it was just kind of natural, just like. Yeah, like, cause I'm sure the original point you made to kick us off the second half was just like it was kind of just like a passing, like, statement, and I think we just like kept it alive after a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be interested to figure out exactly what it is.
Yeah, when I edited it, dude, this was a cool conversation though. I messed with it hardcore. It was pretty sick. I think honestly though, like going back to the friendship thing though, like. I think this another thing, because I've been thinking about like, I don't like thinking about New Year's resolutions. I'm always because like, what I feel like what the thing is the thing that you should be doing is like you should always be coming up with something. You know what I'm saying? Like, not because it's New Year's, like, oh, I want to be a good person because it's New Year's, but I think one thing that I want to work on, like, as of right now, or like at least for this year. Is to just be more open with people, just to try to like just spark a new conversation with people, even if it's like, because like I said, it's kind of difficult for me to do. But I think this, obviously I can't like build that like that community of just like of people to rise with me if I'm not saying anything. You know what I'm saying?
So, people gotta have something to grab on.
Right, exactly. So like I want to put like kind of open my doors and put myself out there more.
For sure.
So
No, yep, yeah. And it sucks too, cause like sometimes people's doors aren't open, you know.
yeah, man.
And I get that, bro. Like sometimes I just have to respect that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I throw a lot like into space, like
Mm-hmm.
just for like for people to catch,
Yeah.
you know. And it's nice when people catch it, but like if people don't, like it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
but I feel that, bro.
Yeah, man, dude. I'm glad you're on, man. This is a long time coming. This is a long time coming.
It's a crazy episode. There was a lot that went on.
Yeah, dude. It was. I think honestly though, this one was a very like. This wasn't like a heavy hitting one, but at the same time, like we covered like very important topics, at least in my opinion.
No, at the very least, it was like the mysteries in my mind about like what it is. Like it was grounding for me.
Yeah.
In terms of like what I'm doing with like those connections that I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that it was grounding in that sense, and
Mm-hmm.
for that reason, it's like it's dope because it's genuine, and like maybe we help other people with like those issues.
Yeah, honestly though, like I definitely have like a clear head when it comes to relationships, even just like a little clear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I definitely appreciated this conversation for sure. But dude, I gotta have you on again like pretty soon. Oh, so when is your new podcast is what? When does it start?
We're starting. Me and Army are starting.
You said this Thursday, right?
He said he wanted to do Wednesday this week,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's Wednesdays and Thursdays that we're gonna be doing those.
So YouTube, what's the deal?
Me and Army.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, bro, like he's like easily my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that literally is the funniest thing is because it's literally just what we talked about for like the past like hour,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
it like all the marks are hit, both of us are very emotionally vulnerable with each other.
Mm-hmm.
We share even the smallest things with each other, like the small victories, the small issues. We get each other's humor. It's like it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
like it's really awesome between him and I, and most topics that we can dive into end up becoming very abstract because as small as it can be, as minutely negative or positive as it is, like we dissect it because that's how our minds work.
Yeah.
And it gets very interesting all the time. So it's literally just going to be us kind of like capturing that dynamic and
Nice.
talking about like he said specifically he wants to talk about like philosophy like a lot. So
Nice.
my podcast is going to be a lot of philosophy. I would imagine.
Nice, man. Heck yeah. Is this going to be on your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
On my YouTube channel.
Nice, bro. I'll have your YouTube in the link in the description so people can check that out. But yeah, dude, this has been a pretty nice episode. This is definitely going to go on my like top 10 list for sure.
Awesome.
But I'm glad you came on, dude. We got to do this again soon. This has been your host Gabe and my guest Ray.
It's your boy.
And I'll see y'all next episode for episode 31. Dude, this is episode 30. Real quick. This is 30. This is episode 30, bro.
Oh,
this is crazy. Yeah, man. I like you're kicking off the new year with episode 30, bro. 30. That's insane.
That's crazy. I have a single episode on my YouTube right now, so that's gigantic to me.
Dang, dude. I didn't even realize for real. I didn't like absorb it all the way until I said it. But anyway, see y'all next week.
See ya.
Peace.